Tonight we have Yolanda and we have Gloria that are visiting us tonight. And my name is Unique Inspiration Coach, also known as Mother Nature. And
hello, I'm Lady Style, aka the Style Vixen.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I also start over. Oh, right now. I'd also like to let you know that if you're an artist and you want to be discovered, that you can go to www.usdiscoverytalent.com or www.discoveryidols.com. If you have any questions regarding the promotion, contact DT, who is Discovery Talent is DT. He's the man that runs the show here tonight. And you'll hear him because he'll challenge us this evening. I'd also like to let you know that we'd love to hear from you tonight on the subject that we're going to talk about is Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. I don't know if anybody has read the book, but Yolanda's going to share with you. This is the book that I'm talking about. You can also get this in at the library in an audio version. If you're not a person that likes to read, you can listen. You can put it inside of the car and listen. So I think we did all our introductions. What I'd like to do is just talk a little bit about what this subject is about. Why are we talking about this subject? Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. You know, for myself, I'm a relationship person, and, you know, when I'm on my dying Beth, I want to know that I've done everything I possibly could to love on the people that I have relationship with. Those are the people that are most important to me. However, along the way, we all know that it's easy to get into conflict. And the subject tonight is really about how men and women communicate. And, you know, sometimes it can be difficult. I mean, let's just call an ace, right? Yes. It can be very difficult. What I'm going to do is just throw out some information of the why we're talking about the subject tonight. And then we're going to have an open discussion about it. And then we'd love people to call in and challenge us or just say what your situation is. Why we're learning the differences between men and women. Why are we learning that? Well, gender insight helps us to be more tolerant and forgiving when somebody doesn't respond the way we think he or she should. With new insight, you have the added wisdom and power to change your approach. And you'll notice I said your approach because none of us change unless we want to change internally to your situation rather than seeking to change your partner. You know, I have a lot of experience in this department, being married for 34 years. I am a widow now, but there were a lot of challenges in my life, and I had to always keep the focus on myself because there were challenges and things I couldn't change about my partner. And I had to just love him the best I possibly could. So I had to learn these techniques, a lot of these techniques we might even be talking about tonight. We need to use the insights that will assist you to respect your partner in the ways that are important to them. That might sound like, well, that means I'm going to be doing all the work. Well, not necessarily. Because, again, you're only going to change what it is you want to change and what you want to make better in the situation. And help them understand how the opposite, while we're talking about this, is just to have us talk about how does the opposite gender think. Because once we have more insight about how the people that we love think, it allows us to open our minds. Learning what a healthy relationship is will assist us overcoming more challenges and problems in our life, whether it be through work, through whatever relationships you have with people. You will learn to understand that men and women are supposed to be different. That's probably the first thing we have to accept, that we are supposed to be different. That's the way God made us. We're supposed to be different. But what we tend to think is that you should be like me. Well, that's not the way it really works. Sometimes we're coming from our own perspective and we forget that we have to maybe not talk as much, maybe listen more. There's all these different things that we need to think about. So we're going to learn and understand that men are supposed to be different, and not only our styles of communicating are different, but our brains, our hormones, stress reactions, nutritional requirements, and exercise requirements are all very different. So no longer, hopefully, after we're done with maybe a couple sessions, will you say men shouldn't be that way or women shouldn't be that way. When we expect our partners to be more like us, we are automatically giving them the message they are not good enough. Now, I don't know, has anybody ever thought about that? I certainly didn't think about that myself through the years of being married, but it's possible that, I did that. And this is not a loving message that I want to give to somebody that I love. So for me, I want to learn new ways to communicate with the people that I care about. This is common. How many people out there, if you're a man, and we need to get a few men on the show, so if there's anyone out there that wants to be part of our show, we're looking to have men and women on this show so that we can get two perspectives. We have done a couple different shows, and it works really well when there's a man in the room. Now, we have DT here. He's going to challenge us. And I know he just got married, and there's going to be a few things he can enlighten us on. For men, you might often hear them say, she's just overreacting. And for a woman, she's saying, he doesn't listen. So what's going on with us? What's going on with us? Anybody want to have any insight or a conversation about that, or anything that I said that you'd like to just come right in here?
Mm-hmm. We as women, we believe that men don't listen. They just don't listen. You'll say to them, do not turn on the AC, I am too cold. They'll say, what you talking about? Or you'll say, could you please get up and get me something to eat? That was 5 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, a whole hour you looking. Did he hear me? No, he don't. They just don't listen.
I'm sorry, I have to say something.
Oh boy!
Yes, good evening. Welcome to DTR Radio. Hello?
Yes.
Ask who it is.
Yeah, who is this,
who's
please?
calling?
Who's calling?
This is Danielle.
Hi, Danielle.
Hi.
How are you tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Can you share some of your thoughts on the subject?
Yes. Especially as a young woman who's definitely done it completely different. I think as young women in our 20s and 30s, we struggle to kind of find that sexuality, to find your sensuality, to find out who you are. And I think until you remember whose you are, you don't really know who you are.
Amen.
And I think that was a big learning experience, I know, for me. And finally trying to do it God's way in my 30s completely changed my life and can change how I went on dates, how I presented myself.
Amen.
And sensuality changed. The meaning changed for me once I started to put God first. And when I started to put Him first, things started to change. I found my husband. We waited until we got married, which was something very hard to do because we both weren't used to doing it God's way. And I think that I have a question for the panel, as I don't think that's really what's happening a lot nowadays. You find a lot of young girls going, and guys in general, who are Christians who just want to find that special someone, although culture tells us something completely different on how we go about that. So how would you, and what would you suggest on how to meet other like-minded Christians like that, where you're not putting the cultural view of sexuality and sensuality on the table, where would you meet these people? So we're not looking to find somebody at a bar because you're not hanging out at a bar, but where would you look to meet these people, especially even women in their 30s and 40s and 50s? Are there places that you would suggest where we can put these values in place, where you can actually, it's so hard to meet people? What would you suggest?
Well, Danielle, I wish you would call it from the last show because that's the subject that we talked about on our last show. But I would like to throw it out to everyone on the panel to be able to, give some thought to that. Where did you find your husband?
Well, I found him on Christian Mingle, but I did find that there was, you still had to filter through a lot. There were definitely people posing as Christians that weren't Christians, for sure.
Well, and tonight what we're talking about are the differences between men and women. And now that you're married, what are the differences that you find that you struggle with?
That's a great question. I think it's definitely not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think that we've definitely struggled to learning how to communicate and going, okay, I understand what you meant by that, but the way that you said it, this is how it meant to me. And so, just having that conversation instead of getting mad and upset and frustrated, just actually being able to come to the table and just having that conversation. I'm super emotional when it comes to things, so if there's, and I can't speak for every woman, but I think we kind of can relate to that. But as a woman, if I can't talk to my husband without raising my voice, I usually ask him to give me a minute. Or even a day. If it's a topic that I'm really passionate about or I have an emotional or vested interest in it, I need a day to sort my thoughts. So, I think that's definitely different, for sure.
Well, I appreciate that you called in and you're talking about this because we're talking about the words, but we also are talking about, we have to remember that our tones make a difference. And, our nonverbal language makes a huge difference. So you touched upon some really important things. Thank you for calling in, Danielle.
Thank you. And apparently I was watching the different live streams. Do you have a different...
Yeah, we're on live right now. We are at, wait a minute, I want to give it to you. On YouTube. Discovery Talent Radio Live.
Go to Discovery Talent Radio.
Live.
Discovery Talent Radio Live. You're going to see it live streaming. And also you can go to Frank, Franc, Claude, Claud, on Facebook. You'll be able to follow up.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Danielle. Somebody was talking when Danielle called. Who was that? Was it Gloria? Gloria, go ahead. Can you finish your thought on what you were thinking about? I was so glad to have her call and just give her because she was watching the last show, which we were talking about women and sexuality and.
Yes. Well, Daniel, I am so glad that you called in because what you were saying is so interesting and it's so truthful, especially the part that you were saying that which now that you are in Christ and that you know how to deal with the situation with you and your husband and you all no longer argue, but you give each other time, and I think that's very important, Daniel, and I thank you.
Did anyone else want to share upon that?
Well, I just want to say this. I'm a very romantic person and I'm very sensitive when it comes to me and my husband.
That is respect.
And I like my husband treat me exactly the way I treat him. And sometimes it don't work like that because men don't think that a woman need to be stimulated, even touching your hand or being romantic that kind of way. Because they're very rough to come to a woman like that. And I never grew up, that is not my environment. I never grew up that kind of way. I'm a very passionate, very romantic person because I'm coming from a romantic country, and we like to do things together. We like to sit down and talk, and go to a movies or a dinner. But sometimes the men don't want to do that. They just want to lay down and watch sport or something like that, and then you feel like, oh, what is this thing about? Because I believe if you get married, you get married to involve together, to do something together, you know, and because that is your world now, you understand? So I believe everything, men supposed to listen to the woman, and men don't listen to women. They want to do whatever they're pleased to do, because when they get married and forget about them, how they used to be romantic when they were dating the person, take them to movie, take them to dinner, take them to the beach, or spend time together. But when they get married, they want to push you away, like you, okay, I'm done. I marry you now. What next? Do you understand? But I think you're supposed to lighten up that fire, like we have the candle right now burning. You lighten up the that fire all the time, doing something different and not the same thing, because you get really boring. You really get bored.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up, because we also had a show on the 5 love languages of how men and women communicate in their love language, and it sounds to me like you are a person that needs touch. And so through the journey of a relationship, if you learn the 5 love languages, then he would understand that's your love language. For him, I'm not sure if you've heard of the 5 love languages, but for him, he's a different language, how he communicates his love probably to you. Doesn't mean that you're right or he's wrong, or he's right, you're wrong. It's how we communicate. One of the other things that you said that I want to touch upon is that in fairness to men, we have to talk about how they think also. And many times as women, we're very emotional beings, and we need to talk our problems out. Men, they will tell you, and I will have DT confirm, they'd like to go to their caves. And that's what we have to learn to respect, is that they process information very differently. Their minds are different, how they process information, how they solve their problems. And so sometimes when we want to talk about something that needs to be talked about, and I'm sure, how many years have you been married now?
No, I'm single.
Oh, you're single, okay. You're single now.
If I may.
Yes.
Women talk too much. I'm sorry. Women talk too much. And sometimes when you say something, I mean, we're trying to 1, 2, 3, we're done. But when you think it's over, she's processing it, she's analyzing it, and next you know, without any, sometimes you just turn around, you say the wrong thing. You thought, hey, this is nothing. And also she turn around and bring something that happened 1901. So what's wrong? What's up with that?
What's up with that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can anybody comment on that? Althea? Oh, I'm sorry, not Althea. It's lady style.
Well, first of all, you start out wrong by saying women talk too much. because if me and you in the car, we driving and we're going to another city, and I'm going to be talking to you and communicating with you, and when you look at me a certain way, I'm going to like, you really want me to shut up. And this is supposed to be our time. Our time spending together.
What make it our time? See, men, when you're driving a long way, we like to look at the scenery, give God glory, say, wow, my goodness, God, you are the best architect. You are the best painter. But in the meantime, you say, yes, baby, remember last night? You went to the bathroom. You didn't put the seat down. What's wrong with that?
Well, you know, the truth of it is men usually squirm when they know they're going on a long trip with their wives or their girlfriends, because they are thinking on terms of what Claude is talking about. They're thinking on peace, quiet, and you know what, I'll hold your hand. That sounds good. But we're wanting to talk about everything that we haven't had time to talk about. Is there a call coming in?
No.
Oh, okay. Is there a caller out there that can relate to anything we're saying? Please call in at 561-660-7653.
Guys, please help me. I'm the only man in this room with 4 beautiful ladies. I need help. Call 561-660-7653. Help!
You know, when you're driving in the car with your husband and your spouse, and they are quiet, and you're looking at them like, you don't have anything to say. We've been driving for 2 hours. And he look at you and say, well, you talk too much. But he didn't say it with the words. He said it with the look. Mm-hmm. And you just stay there and you're quiet, and that's when it starts. Yeah, I talk too much. You know, remember what you did last week? Mm-hmm. So he already creating an argument by just looking. Because what you want is to talk. You want to talk about whatever you want to talk about, and he wants to listen to the music. This is I want to talk because we didn't talk for the whole week. Mm-hmm. I have things to discuss. And we are going for 3 hours. Why can't we discuss it on the drive, and then after we got some fun so I can relax and enjoy you? Mm-hmm. Why?
See, as women, what are we looking to do? We're looking to get intimate and have conversation and get close. But sometimes what we're doing is just what they don't want us to do. So what we have to do is find a way to communicate and compromise that. It just has to happen. Or we end up in two ends up. Oh, I knew the subject was going to get going.
Good evening. Welcome.
Yes, I'm calling in to the program.
Yes. What's your name?
Bonnie Durkin.
Hi, Bonnie. How are you?
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Merritt Island.
Can you share what your thoughts are tonight on this subject?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you just asked.
Oh, okay. Can you share some of your thoughts on the subject tonight?
Well, there's a couple things. I understand that the young lady on the end in the flower dress and the gentleman were discussing, the less they give, the more they get. And that is a true statement. I find in my own life that sometimes the more I try, the harder it is to move forward with the person I love. And I don't get that. Why is that so difficult?
So the harder you try, the more difficult it gets sometimes?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what the struggles are between you and your husband, maybe in regards to communication?
Yeah. It's about communication. It's about sharing. It's about closeness. It's about, all of those pieces. It's just, I find if I'm in a state of sharing, I feel vulnerable and my guard's down. And so I don't know if it's being heard what I want heard.
So what are you looking for in the moment that you're sharing? What are you looking for from him?
Listening skills, not fixing, just listening skills.
Well, that's such an important thing that you said, because one thing that women are looking for is not to have our problems fixed. Now, for a man, the way that their mind operates is that they are problem solvers. So men show their love, and this is why, nothing's perfect. But if you learn some of the things that this book talks about, and we learn how the man's mind works and how a woman's mind works and what she's looking for and what he's looking for, we're all looking for the same thing. We're all looking for love. We just go about it getting it differently.
Correct.
So sometimes it's just a matter of working on it together and saying what you need. However, for a man that is, when we talk about a problem, they immediately want to fix it because they don't want us hurting. They don't want us having any problems because in their mind, they want to be the person that is loving them, and they don't want the outside world hurting us. So they throw out ideas to us that sometimes upset us when we just want to be heard. We just want
to be the protector.
they're supposed to be the protector, and that, you know, is an instinct for them. So, it's a matter of, you know, saying sometimes to your spouse, if you're in that situation, hon, really what I need you to do is just listen. Please don't talk. In this case, what you're looking for is him to listen and have some compassion for, you're trying to work it through. We're verbal human beings. We talk to other women because that's how we solve our problems. That's why we're so different, because they work their problems by going to a cave and need time away from us so they can work through their challenges. And then they will come back. A lot of men will just, you know, hi, I got to go play baseball tonight, or I've got to watch the game tonight, or I've got to do this or that. Because when they come home from a hard day, they need, you know, all this stuff has been coming at them all day, and they can't actually process it immediately. So sometimes they need time away from us. And, you know, we might be coming at them just saying, you know, this is what happened to me today. And they're not ready to process that because they're in a space where they just need to go to their cave. And, DT, can you talk about the cave and what goes on in your mind?
And sometime when, after a long day, sometime hard time with the client when you get home and you're watching the game, in reality, you're not watching the game. You are processing
Or just
things.
TV.
You know, I mean, you are processing at the same time. It's time for the wife to come. Hey, do you know what happened? You know what happened? And sometimes you do your best to listen, but at the same time, you're try to fix something. That's one of the reasons when she come and say something like that, a problem, you immediately try to solve the problem. But in reality, she's not requesting your help. She just wants for you to be quiet and listen.
Yes.
Thank you, DT.
You know what I mean?
Coming from a man, he's learning. He just got married, but he's learning.
And sometimes I said, yes, honey, you're right. After that, she said, what did I say? You know, I agree what you say. That's it.
Yes, that's funny. That's very funny.
I know. It's so true. It's so true. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us? Some frustrations, other frustrations that you find in, you know, just in men and in women in general, how we communicate?
Well, I find that after a while, you tend to shut down.
Yeah, that's so true.
Shut down and go,
So true.
yeah, I've been there, done that. I've been married almost 30 years, and, you know, after a while you go, I'm kind of done with this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the same one, just
Same
different
one,
day, 30 years later, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough to get back in the saddle and try to make it things spontaneous and fun and get through it all.
I know it. And we're all, you know, when you live with somebody for many, many years, we all get into the comfort of just, hey, we've got stuff to do. You got places to go. There's family you're juggling. And we're not always considerate of how the other person thinks or feels. And that's reality. That's real reality, right? This is what we're talking about. But at the same time, if we stop long enough to really think about it, we are dealing with, God made us as two different people for a reason. You know, how we process and get to the other side. Can you say that there's been a time where your husband has met you middle of the road and he's starting to learn different things that you might need?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes the less you give, like you said before, the more you get.
So when you're a little bit standoffish, he tends to want to talk more?
Yeah, they try harder.
Okay. What do you think's going on there?
I think there's always a fear of him losing me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's nobody wants to lose their other half, you know.
Right.
sometimes I think that that's what happens. And it's hard to get back in that saddle of being comfortable and wanting to share and being intimate and all of those pieces. We've been through a lot.
And it's funny, when you think about when you used to date each other, what was that like? What was that like when you were dating? What were you attracted to? How were you attracted to each other? What ways were you communicating?
What love language?
What love language were you using with each other?
I was a single mom, so it was probably, my priority was not him. My priority was my daughter regularly. So he pretty much could have his own life, and then I'd fit into it.
Oh, okay.
And that worked for both of us at the time. So I had been married prior to. I was looking for something very different, my own independence, and this person, helped me through those pieces of being a friend. And at the time, I thought you had listening skills and all the things you love about somebody. After a lot of years, you end up hating about them.
That's so true.
Oh
That's
my
so
God.
true.
So that being said, it's hard to get those quote unquote emotional attachments back. When we work on it every day, it's never enough. You take one step forward, and then one thing said, and I just jump back. Into my own little, whatever's going to get me through my day. Maybe it's a trust issue. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Do you think sometimes as women we take things too personal at times?
Oh gosh, yeah.
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 That's a downfall of ours, I think, that we're because we're emotional beings, we take it too personal. We might analyze something a little bit too much, and we read into things a little bit too much sometimes, but because we're emotional beings, it's hard for us to not take it so personal. When essentially, when a man goes in their cave and they really need time away from us, they're coming back and forth. They come back and forth to the relationship because they want it. In their hearts of all hearts, they want things to work. They just don't know how to. So, sometimes reading a book together about relationships, sometimes learning the love languages, sometimes it helps to do these things. Now, a lot of men don't have that interest, and they're not going to do that, and that's fine. But you got to have something that brings you together, something somewhere, so that you get on the same page somehow.
Over the years, we do date night for the last 30 years. We do every night. We do Friday night date night.
Good.
And it's gotten us probably through a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's something very easy and simple, but it's kind of one of those things you hash out stuff and get through it and move forward best you can.
And that seems to work for you, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Something happens on Friday night.
Yep. It doesn't matter, when we had money, when we had no money. Probably the best times were when we had no money to do anything. We'd go out and just hang out and have a hot dog. And, it cost us less money to do that than it did to go sit at a 4-star restaurant and be wined and dined. But the hardest times are usually your best times.
Well, I'm so glad you shared that, because I think what men sometimes think that they have to do so much for us. And a lot of times what a woman is really looking for is just quality time with them. Alone time, quality time, saying, what's on their mind, and just sharing time together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. We so appreciate you calling and sharing that.
You're welcome.
It helps all of us. Thank you, Bonnie.
You're welcome.
I'd like to just thank Bonnie for calling and Danielle for calling in, because that's a lot to share on the radio. But it really helps to have callers call in, because then we can get the insight. I think we all can relate to another person's life one way or another. Lady Style, you've been awful quiet over here. Would you like to share tonight?
I disagree with whatever the ladies were talking about already, so.
So
Or
we'll
just
talk.
be a
Let's talk
repeat.
about it. Let's talk about it. Tell us where your disagreement is.
No, I didn't say I disagree,
Oh,
I said I
oh,
agree.
Oh, you agree. Okay. So, what about your life experiences with men and communication? How does that work for you? Have you had good, positive?
I'm probably not at I don't know what to say, a good place as regards to any type of relationship with men. So if you've watched the previous shows, you already know what my point of view, where I'm coming from. As I stated before, most people, I'm not sure about our guests, but the other panel of women, I've been in the dating game for a long time. I'm in my mid-50s, and my perspective is totally different. So I know it's lighthearted, not to be so serious, but again, I think I agree with what the ladies said, what the panel has said, and what Mr. DT has said as well, that as women, or for me particularly, I'm very analytical. My master's is in organizational management, so order is very important for me. So that's basically where I'm coming from. I agree with everybody in that, I'm analytical and women are emotional, and so trying to deal with both, I think it's difficult for probably the people I have been involved with. So I'm not really coming from much hope, so I don't want to be discouraging to the callers.
No, I don't think you are. I think that it's important that we all come from our own perspective. There is no right or wrong here. What we're trying to do is just bring about how men and women are different in how we process information. Some things I just wanted to share and say, men. What are men's complaints about us? Okay, are you ready to hear it, everyone?
Yes.
She's making a big deal out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Amen.
she's overreacting.
Big time.
She's holding sex, and she's being unreasonable. Okay, that's how men are thinking sometimes. Not all the time, but that's what they're not telling you. That's what they're thinking. Now, for women, we often complain of, we just said it, he doesn't listen, he's inattentive, he's less affectionate, and he doesn't compliment me, and he's self-centered. Now, does anybody relate to that?
I think men complain about women holding back sex from them because look like that is the thing that stimulate them, make them feel good. And women, they realize that sometimes the men not being romantic with them like the way they want to, and then really like shut down themselves. That they just think that that's all they're looking for. They're not looking for sit down and have a dinner and put a candle or watch a good movie or just to be together. Because a woman is very emotional. They move by any little thing. You bring a candle or something, then wow, you understand. So the men then need to be more little realistic and more romantic, and not just looking for a woman just for what they want to get, and when they get it, they just turn it back and go sleep. And woman still wake up and say, "What's going on here?" This is
Right.
more than that.
Yes.
Yes. So I think men supposed to understand the woman, and the woman supposed to understand the men them too.
Thank you.
Good evening. Welcome to Global Love Connection.
Hello, hi,
Hi, who's calling tonight?
Farrington.
I'm sorry, the name?
Farrington.
Harrington?
Farrington.
Farrington. Oh, thank you for calling. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject.
Thank you for rescuing me, my friend. Thank you. Thank you.
I really love what you women and, Frank, you guys are doing. I think this is awesome. I think we have to go back to the roots of, relationships and just being the man, the male, and the female. When I found this out, what I'm getting ready to say, it blew my mind, and it took me to a whole nother place. We have to get back to men. It starts with men. God created man before He created the male or the female. Men, I feel like we have to know our vision and our purpose. We have to know what our dream is. If we go back to Genesis, it tells you right there in the beginning. It's a lot deeper than just creation and just simple Adam and Eve and why we failed. It's a lot more we have to understand and take into consideration. We have to remember that man was it's the foundation of the thing. A lot of people, a lot of things that we preach in our churches, and a lot of things that we tell that we believe as Christian men and women is that if you get married and when you get married, when you come into a relationship, that the man is the head. When actually, if you read it, God explains it very clearly that the man was the bottom, which is our foundation. Without the foundation, everything else on top of it will fall. So that's why the man is on the bottom. I'm just going to jump here. This is the thing. When God created the male and the female, the first thing God did was He gave us Eden. He gave man Eden. There was no woman. Eden is a place, it's just an atmosphere, it's an environment. Before God creates anything, He gives the environment first. It's just like God had to make the fish. Before the fish, He created the water. Before let's say like the stars, you have to create the firmament. Because if you have without the firmament, you can't have a star. It will become an asteroid, a meteor, and burn up and die. Just like the man, He had to put us in a place called Eden, a place of peace where we can grow and do the things of God. We never had to have pastors. We never had to pray in the place of Eden because God was right there with us. The second thing God gave men was work. Work is not your job, it's the work. The God-given work is what the purpose He created you for. It has to be something, it's not something you do. Your work is not your job. The job that you have is your skill. Your work is your gift. It's what God gave you. So when we take all this stuff out of order, that's where we have mess-ups and things that go wrong in our house. It's just like the woman was created to help a man. That's the third thing God gave us. It was Eden, and then it was work, and then a woman. When a man puts work before he finds his work, that creates frustration in the house. The woman will never be satisfied. Just like it says in the Bible, the woman was created to help a man. It is not good for a man to be alone. For he will make us a helper. When God pulled that piece out of the man, the rib, He says that He will build a woman. Everything a woman has is for a man, as in the Bible. She comes equipped with everything that she has, that God gave her. Everything she needs to be with that man. The worst thing that we can do when you get a job is for them not to give you anything to do. So the same thing with a woman. You can't have a woman in your life and she has nothing to do. That's why she gets frustrated, and that's why she feels uncomfortable, and just frustration starts. And that's why you guys were talking about when I guess the woman wants to talk, but the man just sits there quietly. That's where all that comes from. If a man marries a woman and he doesn't know what his work is or his own vision or any of that stuff that God created us for, there will be frustration in the house. A woman needs to make a woman for us is to be able to make our work be fulfilled and help us with it. So I think that's where all that frustration and all those problems come from. If we go back to the basics and we go back to and we bring God into our relationships and our marriages, and know your place and know what we're supposed to do in that marriage and that union, I think a lot of these things probably wouldn't be issues or problems in our relationship.
Well, I really appreciate all that you said tonight. You really said a lot, and we appreciate you calling in. And I think a lot of what you're talking about is keeping God in the center of our relationships, and that is so important. That is so important because without prayer, it doesn't matter what kind of problems we have. We know that God can overcome everything. And you're bringing it right back to no matter, the basic things that with God's help in our life, we can work through relationship problems no matter what they are. And you know, the truth is sometimes we aren't compatible with sometimes the people that we're with, but it doesn't matter. If you have enough love for another human being, you can work through just about any problem. And I know for myself, I had some challenges in my marriage that I had to overcome. I didn't have a partner that was able to work with me on some of these issues because he had an addiction. That was just another whole layer that I had to, deal with that reality. And but I still had to live by God's word, and it wasn't a conscious thing I did, except that I got married in sickness and in health. So for me, I didn't have somebody that was going to read a book with me and talk about these problems. I was overcoming. I felt that the bottle was the priority in his life, and it really was an illness. And I understand that it's a sickness, but try to communicate with somebody that prefers to have a bottle to drink than to talk with me. That really puts another whole layer of who you are out there.
Yes.
And I can tell you that through this process, God was still in the middle of our marriage. And even if it was just Sunday mornings that we were able to talk, I had a very deep love for this man, and I know he loved me as well, but there was an illness in between.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I listen to what you're saying, and this is why I say I don't want to just make it as simple as just call and get back to the basics. But for women, you guys came equipped, you came with everything. You're the incubators, as the Bible says, for the man. And I feel like when a man's purpose is his work. Work is more important than a woman, and more important than a woman to a man. I feel like as men, we have to know our work, and women have to be married to a man who knows this. The Bible says to be equally yoked. You have to know, the man has to know his work before he can find a woman. This is why I guess women get frustrated because sometimes you live with a man who doesn't know or hasn't found his work. That means his God-given gift and his purpose, his domain that God has created us for, to take over and to dwell in, to have domain over. Because as men, our work, to be honest, our work is in our work. It's not from a woman. The male value is based on his work. That's where we get our value from. Because a woman doesn't make a man feel valuable. A man feels worthless without no work. And when that happens, when he has none, this is where all that other stuff coming from, the drinking and the frustration and the hitting and the beating. That's where all that comes from, because the man feels worthless. He doesn't know what to do when he hasn't found that work. No matter how much we go to a job every day, that job can always fire you at any moment, at any time. It's just a paycheck. It's nothing. But the work is from God, and when you find that, you find your worth. You find where you're supposed to be, and you're always in a place where God is right there with you as a man. And when you get with a man who is not in that place, who hasn't found that place, who doesn't know, that's where all this other stuff comes from, and it creates a lot of it wreaks havoc in the relationship. So when he finds his work, his skills, he feels valuable and important, and all that has to do with creating what the man is. When he finds that stuff and he goes through the process, and then a woman comes, or he finds a woman, I feel like those things will be under control or non-existent in a relationship, and it will go as planned, as God created it to be.
Mm-hmm. And I think what you said was the worth.
Yeah.
At first you were talking about work, and then you're talking about worth, and you get your worth from God. Because essentially what men do have to realize is that when the job goes, if a job goes, you've got to figure out what your worth is, and you can only get that from God.
Which is a gift from God.
Whether that's a man or woman, we cannot get our worth from a job. It's going to create havoc. And unfortunately, in the secular world, that's what the struggles are sometimes, not knowing where their worth is. Or they've been brought up in a household that tells you if you don't work 7 days a week, you're worthless. I mean, people come from belief systems that they're struggling in their relationships, and their worth is coming from work. And it's not that work isn't good. Work is great. We all need to work, but we all need to have a purpose behind work. Yes.
Right, exactly. And I believe, and just talking about work, the work, when I say work, it's not a job, it doesn't equivalent to job and work, it's not the same thing. Work I was talking about it's the gift from God. If we go into the deeper meaning, like in Hebrew, it means paragon, which means to be fulfilled, to become yourself, to reveal, to manifest. And that's what God wants us to do as human beings on the earth, to become yourself. Find where's your fulfillment, where's your manifest. After you get that, after you have the relationship with God, after that, you can still be frustrated and have a relationship with God and know the things of heaven. But until you find your work, which is in God, which is a gift from God, you can't be fulfilled. The things can't come to manifest. Things don't be revealed, and things can't come to fulfill you. When you can't find that stuff. And then when another person gets in that life with that person who hasn't found that, things happen that shouldn't happen.
Well, we really appreciate you calling in tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I would love more callers to call in and give us your perspective. Our call-in number is 561-660-7653.
Yes. I'm just going to piggyback off the last caller. One thing I do realize in relationships with the men, myself and some of my girlfriends were similar educational backgrounds. We tended to be the she woman, whereas in my last relationship, I said I refuse to be the she man in the relationship. And once you become the she man, then that man's worth in his mind is worthless because we just, I don't know how to explain it, but my family is Caribbean, so we're Jamaican. So we're always taught, hard work, do this, do that. And so I found that with my friends, we really wanted to take control as a man would take control. Because if we felt like you weren't doing what you needed to do as a man, we would just step in and take over. And in some cases, we knew what we were doing because that was our way of, I don't want to sound mean.
Your parents.
Your parents, but also sometimes if that person wasn't giving you what you wanted, that was a way of destroying them. You would take their manhood from them, and they knew it.
Wow, that brings a whole different dynamic that in conversation that we need to have.
I believe that some men, a woman can really make a man feel really less than nothing. And I'm saying it like this. You came into the relationship feeling proud, you're feeling strong, you have a beautiful, wonderful woman, but you really don't know much about that woman until you get further in that relationship. And 2-3 years you're going on and you're very happy until something happened drastic. When this woman is now looking for you to be the man, the head of the house, and every time, because he doesn't want to hurt you, or he figured that you're easily broken and you're going to just cry all the time, weak, but you're strong, and this man will start to, whatever you say, honey, whatever you want, honey, which is okay for some women, because some men, they solve the problem by trying to please you all the time and then put you in the position of being the stronger person instead of them taking the higher position and said, listen, I love you, but this is right and this is wrong. And they comes into the relationship now changing, because whether they figure that they're going to lose you, whether they figure that they have to fight for you in some way, and they don't have to, but they even in a relationship with their own family and friend, they'll say, that's my wife, she control everything, and all of a sudden you control everything. everything. She control the house and the children, even, and she give me this little corner, and she says, sit right there and don't move. And that's what he's claimed. That's what he said. So now he speak the word, and now the word is coming out, and it's coming to pass. Now he's going to tell everybody, I don't love my wife anymore. She's controlling.
And
Exactly.
as a man,
Yes.
as a man, most of the time when you hear another man saying that, it's because they have extremely low self-esteem. If you're in a relationship, you're afraid that you're going to lose your wife, you're going to lose her. Because you should not. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, what God called you to be, the leader of the house, you should never find yourself in a situation like you say, I'm going to lose my wife, or my wife is controlling everything. Yes, they should not get themselves that. So if you pretty much allow your wife to be the man, you deserve it. Because just like the gentleman said, go back to basic. Go back to basic. If what God gave you, okay, God asked you to be a leader, and you fail, your wife pick up the pens, you deserve it.
But sorry, but there is some time that the man don't know about the basic, and then go marry a woman that the woman is controller. She control the man, she manipulate the man, and the man, because he love her, or he just allows she to do whatever she want to do, but he have to realize that woman is not happy at all. She bitter inside her because she want to be the man, and the man going to be the woman. So the men get tired and say, you take it over because you handle everything. And sometimes the men don't want to do that. It's because the woman want to manipulate
some women born to be a control freak.
Exactly. They control the man, because I know a lot of people who control the man. They manipulate the man, and the man could be soft and easy, like the young lady said. But some woman, they want to take over. And it's not about because you're married, you want to take over a man. Because remember now, we never married to control nobody. We're married to love one another, respect one another, because that's what God said.
It's to complement one another.
And build up one another. Not just building one person and draining down the other person.
Right.
And that's what God called us. Build up one another, love one another. It's not about just loving me and what I want and what I want to do, because that is what most women, they think, because they matter that because the men love them, they think the men supposed to bow down to them. No, God never called no man to bow down to no woman. God called the man and the woman to love one another and to go and build up his kingdom. That's what God called us for. But there is some women who say, oh, my husband don't love it. No, the men love you. You understand? You don't give him opportunity because you want to control everything.
I mean, I agree. Sometimes what happens in a relationship, you are being the helpmate, but the man doesn't take the position as a man. That causes you to then take over more control, which you really didn't want to do. But because they won't come to the table and be the man's man, that's what I meant about Shiro. My friends and I became the Shiro because we were waiting on the man to be the man, and they wouldn't step up to the plate. Whether or not you're married to them or you live with them, if they don't step up to the plate and you've given them the opportunity to, the rent has to be paid, the mortgage has to be paid, whatever needs to be paid, then you start doing it. And then that's what happens is that, you are no longer the helpmate. You are the person that's taking the head of the household. And no, I don't believe in being the Shiro. I mean, I can be well educated, I can be well traveled, but I need a man's man. I don't need somebody who's whimpering behind me and saying, honey, what do you think? What do you think? Because I need you to be the head of the household. I don't want to be the head of the household. So we're supposed to, you're supposed to work as a team. And then I think that's what happens with a lot of the communication that we're talking about, especially the last caller saying the man does not know his worth. So then when you're trying to make him step up to the plate, he can't.
Well said. Lady style, well said. Would love to have some more callers come in if you'd like to. 561-660-7653. I'm getting told by Mr. DT that I'm not talking close enough to the mic, so I apologize if it's not loud enough. It's something that I'm just getting used to talking into a mic. Let's see here. Where can we go with this? Right now, it might be a good time for us to take a little bit of a break. Would anyone like to share anything else right now? Commercial? I guess we're going to have a commercial break. Please stay on the line with us. Thank you.
If you are interested and you want to be discovered, go to www.usdiscoverytalent.com or www.discoveryidols.com. If you have any questions regarding any type of promotion, contact Mr. DT at 561-541-1378. I'm sorry, I don't have my
878.
I'm sorry, I don't have my reading glasses on,
Okay.
so please read.
Let me take it from there. Well, this is probably the best time for me to say a few words regarding Discovery Idols. They call me Mr. DT because my job is to discover everybody's talent. And discoveryidols.com, we created this agency to help the underdog. The underdog, what we do, it doesn't matter where you go, where you at, where you live, your background. If you have talent, you contact us. We help you big time. And all they have to do, go to www.discoveryidols.com or usdiscoverytalent.com. Please remember that there's a ton of artists that contacted me, sent me their music, and also they send me their video. I cannot do anything legally if you guys do not register, because legally I cannot do anything with your video, I cannot do anything with your music unless you filled out the application, the registration, because without it, legally I cannot touch it. So I appreciate that. So many of you sent me your music, send me your video. You guys, you have great talent. I love it. But unfortunately, you must sign the registration. Let me explain exactly. Discovery Talent is an agency. We do not get paid until we get a contract for you. That's number one. The registration, you go there, you fill out the registration, and you pay for a single artist, you pay $99.99. It's one-time fees. You're not going to be charged anything else. After that, what the company does, it keep promoting you, play your music on the radio, promote you also on social media. We have other partners overseas, they also promote you. It does not matter if it's take 1 year or 2 years, you do not pay anything after that. That's the best. That's one of the reasons we're saying that we're there to help the underdog. The phone number is 561-541-1878. The address of the agency is 2300 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, Suite 200C. So, and also we all over social media. I'm one of the guys who used to operate behind the scene. I'm one of the general manager of Discovery Idols. So anything that happened, you can contact me, Mr. DT. And also, there's a level for the artist to come. What we do, we spend money worldwide to have people go to Discovery Idols to vote for you, meaning that when you reach to a level, we package you. When we package you, that's the time we introduce you to our entertainment law firm. Even though after we package you, you still don't pay anything. The company only get paid after they get a contract for you. In the meantime, the company spent money to promote you. So I will encourage you guys to go to www.usdiscoverytalent.com or usdiscoveryidols.com. So in the meantime, if you are local, if you're an artist, you can come to the studio, you can perform live. And also at the meantime, not only that, we promote you to Discovery Talent Radio, and also we promote you to 1600 AM. That's another radio program we have. We have over 500,000 listeners. So this is what we do. We're here to help the underdog. So if you're an artist, or if you know an artist you want to help them, they can go to www.usdiscoverytalent.com or discoveryidols.com. And also at the same time, you can go to www.usdiscoverytalentradio.com. You can listen to your music. And also when you go to the website, discoveryidols.com, you can see all the other artists from worldwide. It does not matter what language you speak. And the best part of it, you don't have to pay. We work with artists from overseas. We work with promoters. Some of the promoters that who contact us, they're charging some of the artists $1,500 every 3 months to promote them. Discovery Idols, you only pay the registration fee, which is $99.99 one time. If you're a group, it's $299.99 one time. It doesn't matter if it's 1 year or 2 years, you don't have to pay anything else. While we coach you, we promote you, we play your music on the radio programs, and at the same time, when you get to a level, we do the package for you. We package you and present you. You take the package to an entertainment law firm. That's the time we really market you big time. Even all these things, you don't pay anything after that. Thank you for allowing me to explain what the agency does for all the underdog out there.
I'd like to just let everybody know tonight that if you are interested in our subject tonight, that you can also go to the library and get an audiobook. Hoopla is at the library, is something that you can go online and download these books to read more on and get more information if you are interested in this subject.
I have a gentleman on Facebook. It says everyone was born to be a leader. True leaders never seek followers. True honor. So what do you ladies think about that?
That was from a man's perspective?
That's a one-man perspective. That's correct.
That's a woman's perspective?
Man's perspective.
Yes.
A man's perspective.
That's correct.
Well, of course, we all are leaders in different aspects of our lives, but in a relationship, the man still has to be the leader and the woman is the helpmate. But you can be a leader at work, you can be a leader, a work group at work, you could be a leader in a volunteer capacity. There's other areas for you to be the leader. So,
Yes.
if he's talking about, yes, you still can be a leader, but the man is still going to lead in a relationship at home. It doesn't diminish you as your leadership skills. If you would just, exhibit that more like in your workplace and other things that you do.
Okay, there's another thing. The same man, it said God created man to have dominion, which means to lead, rule, govern. Men are designed to be in charge. That's why we don't like being told what to do. Men were not created to dominate other men, but the earth. This goes for the woman as well. We are supposed to dominate our area of gifting. When you find it, you find your purpose. Chaos happens when the man doesn't know what he's doing in his life. Thus, the female get upset. What do you ladies think about that?
Well, I'd like to say that it is a very confusing subject because based on your own unique circumstance, everybody has their own perspective of where they're coming from. In my particular marriage, I had to kind of take the bull by the horn, or I wouldn't survive. But what you're talking about is, I think, in a situation where I really, as Lady Stiles said, when you want your spouse to take the leadership role, but when that's not possible, it's very confusing for a woman. They have two choices. They can shrivel up in the corner and do nothing, or just be a victim of the situation, or they can do what they've got to do and be strong and take care of the situation and the family. In my particular situation, I had a son to take care of who I love dearly, and unfortunately, I did have to wear the pants in my family for quite some time. There was a time where my husband, when I married him, he wore the pants in the family. He did all those things. But as he got sicker, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the dynamics of my life changed. And so there is not, God knows our situations. I think that is something that we have to be sensitive to as well, because everybody's circumstance in life is very different. What we're talking about is trying to open communication between men and women and really talk about what it is that, our partners need and want. So that's really important to understand that everybody's situations might be a little bit different, and that we don't judge a particular situation, because there are families where the wife has to work and maybe the husband's lost a job, and that's a very difficult situation as well, where the husband's taking care of the kids, and that dynamic happens to work for them. For a man to be able to do that, I think it takes a man to do that role as well, to take care of children and to let his wife work if that's what's working in their relationship. I know that God wants it a certain way, but I think he also understands that and loves us to know that if two people are working on a relationship, they love each other, and the wife is wearing the pants and the man is not, and he's home, that doesn't mean that they're on different wavelengths. It could be that they're just working life the way it works for them. I don't know if anybody else wants to comment.
Yes. The Word of God says, when a man find a wife, he find a good thing. But you're supposed to think about, when you find a good thing, that means you have to take care of the woman, because you all come to be one. Respecting one another again. The more important in a relationship is respect and have communication. If you don't have communication and respect, it's not going to work. Because if you want to dominate, he said that God said he gave us power over the earth, not over man. It's true, that is true. God gave us power over the earth. over the animal, over everything in the earth, not over a woman or a man. Because when you marry a woman, it's to love her woman and respect the woman, not to have dominion because she's not an animal. She's just a human being that God put in your life to love her, respect her, listen to her when she's talking, because woman is more sensitivity than a man. So that's what God put us, not to control her, because I see men control women. They don't want to go anywhere to do any things, and the woman accept it because the woman don't understand what is about having a relationship with a man. Because some woman become so dominated by the man, they give the man them power. When God said He give us power over the earth, not that you dominate me, because you get married with me, not to dominate me. You get married with me to love me. You get married with me to make we come to be one, working together, lifting up, building up the kingdom of God, building up our home, building up our kids, raising our kids. That's what God gave us to raise up His kids, them for the better future, not to dominate a woman or a woman dominate the man. That not going to work. You're going to work for a little while, and then the man just take off. If you meet somebody else out there, he's gone, because men looking for a woman to be kind, sweet, and nice. A man don't looking for a man a woman to talk to him like a man,
Right.
because the men get tired
Right.
when he coming out from the work or something. He been around a lot of men. He talk about rough thing in his job, but when he come home, he want to see that loving, kind wife. Come home. Hi, honey, how are you today? Everything is okay. What's going on there? Try to be compatible, to be kind with the person, but then don't respect. Then you respect the husband when he coming home. They just ignore it totally, completely. That's why the husband want to hang around the boys, because with the boys and love and talk and everything. He missing that love at the house, but he prefer be out there, because when he come to the house, it's just chaos. And we women have to take the role like a woman, like how God called us to be so sensitive to the man. You understand? Because God created us to be for a man. You understand? And then there is a lot of women out there. My God, I do a lot of ministry out there, and I see that everything is missing in the relationship is communication and love. That is what missing, because everybody want to dominate someone, and the men just say, okay, go ahead. So meantime, the woman think just because they're married and have a piece of paper now, you think you have dominion over the men. No, you don't have dominions. You could take control of the outside, but the inside, he thinking something else. He preparing his mind, because men think a lot. Women open their mouth in a second and say everything. But man lay down and them start meditating and looking at you, the way you treat him and everything, and then suddenly somebody come in his way. Another bird came in his way. And he loved that bird. He loved the way how the bird started talking to him.
The little bird catch up in his nest.
And start talking to him and being kind with him. Because we have to be kind on one another. That's why the Lord said, love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your mind, and with all of your soul. And then when we love God first, believe me, you're going to be so sensitive to anyone out there. You don't have to be just a husband.
Isn't that the
Your
Bible
kids.
says, love your wife as Jesus loved the church?
Exactly. You're going to love your kids. You're going to love everybody, your friend, everyone around you, because you love the Lord first, because you put him first. And then the word says, love your neighbor like you love yourself. We cannot say we love somebody and we're not loving God, because that's not going to work. We love our puppy. We love anything what we see, we love it. But love, that is not love. That is just a puppy love. But
I like it when they don't talk back.
the puppies.
I like the unconditional love I get from dogs.
Well, I love this. The gentleman said it will never work when the women step into something that wasn't supposed to be. Everyone has to be in their role. A woman is not supposed to be the male. The male didn't know his place in life. I am speaking of what you do and how it's supposed to be before you get married. Things happen in marriage, yes, but it's out of order. Thus, there will be confusion always.
I like that. I think that that is very well said, very well said. And I think the world is confused, and we get confused as women as to what our roles are sometimes, because there's so much pressure in life to pay the bills, to do what has to be done, take care of the children. And people, years ago, the roles were much clearer than they are today. You know, because it takes sometimes a two-person household to have to pay your mortgage and to pay all the bills. But the bottom line comes down to what women really want is to be loved, to be guided, to have leadership with the husband where he's the leading role, that we can be that support system. That's really what we're looking for. Where we get confused, I think, is when that man doesn't take that role, and then they don't give the love back to us and listen to our needs.
And there's another one. When a man finds a wife, girl, female, he finds a good thing. The male had or has specific instruction for his life within him. And women are here to be the helpmate, as she said. Women are supposed to be the incumbented and fill the earth. Everything is out of place. We have to get back to how we are made to be. Women are very important. You carry your life. You were made different. Thus, you can't be like a man. And when you do, your life cannot be fulfilled. A lot of women won't be in a relationship because they have been hurt by hurt men, out of place men, confused men. Thus, when she get in a relationship, she plays the dominant role, which the man is not supposed to play. Therefore, he will leave all that isn't in place.
Yes. And that is what I'm talking about. A double-minded man. If you're a double-minded man and you're with a woman that truly loves you and truly cares about you, and you will say everything to please you. You change the word of God to please you. In every situation, you'll tell her one thing and it will please you. And then she said, okay, hon, all right, we'll do this. And then next week you change it just to suit you. And you're double-minded. And you are the head of the house. And if you're the head of the house and you're changing the word of God to suit your situation all the time, first of all, you're disrespecting the woman. First of all, you're telling her she's a fool. Because you're using psychology against her every time to suit yourself. And that is not good, because that caused the relationship to go down, because she don't know which direction to take, because now you're making it difficult for her to know you, because now she's saying, okay, let me see who's talking to me now. You know, and that's double-minded, because she's not sure where you're coming from, because you have changed your direction so many times that this woman is so sick of it. And that's why some of you men lose your leadership, because you are leading one way, and then the next time you say, baby, I'm going to go that way, and the next time you say, I give up, and then she encouraged you back to strength. Then you said, okay, that wasn't what I wanted to do. I want to do something else. And you're going around and around with your wife, with your spouse, with, you know, and taking her around with you, all these different places and different things that you're doing that just doesn't make sense. Then the whole relationship come a big flop, because you're double-minded. You can't stick to the plan. Whether you and her make a plan together and you say, baby, I will love you, I'll take care of you, I'll trust you, and she's relying on your promises, and you can't even keep a promises such as love. You know, and then when you go out of the marriage and do something that is wrong, you're going to say, baby, I'm sorry. Okay, she forgive you. Then what you do it again. And then you expect her to forgive her because you're saying, look, I got over you now. You know, and now that you make her love become weak when her love is strong in Christ. But because she's so forgiving, you take advantage of that perfect love. And what will happen to that relationship? What will happen to that marriage when you're constantly taking your family around a circle back and forth because of your inconsistency? So think about that.
That is powerful.
No, I think everybody has such valid concerns here, and we're talking about, you know, men and women and how we're different. And you know what? We're also talking about mistakes that we make in our lives that we have to forgive each other for, and that's something that God calls us to do. Yes. So, you know, the dynamics of a relationship is very, very important. I think that, you know, this is important stuff, what we're really talking about tonight. And there's no right or wrong answer to anything that we're saying. I think that of this conversation, it really has a lot of validity to it. For every perspective that is being said here tonight is just really warmed my heart. Thank you.
Look like how the woman gets sad.
What's that?
The woman getting sad right now.
We've got a noise going on.
The fun.
Oh,
Thank you.
It was just,
can we take a break?
You have so many people.
that is very interesting what we just talked about. But I want to ask a question to the last.
Go ahead, please.
I want to ask a question about the last person just sent a message. I want to know where he from, because it speak like he from another nation.
Oh, is it possible to have some of the people that are writing to call us also, so we can get to know who you are and where you're from?
Well, I believe that Mr. Abu Dhabi, I believe in a 50-50 marriage, but men are supposed to want to be more than men want love as well, not just women. Men are supposed to be the foundation. When you both decide to get married, they are always signed before you get married to the wrong person. Women are encouragers, helper.
I agree and I disagree. Sometimes someone can be an actor, an Oscar-winning actor.
Yes.
And it was just a front in order to get you. Then once they get you, they're no longer that person.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily that there are signs in the beginning. So I agree that it should be, you know, sometimes it's 50-50, sometimes it's 80-20. You know, I agree on that part, but I disagree as far as that there's always a sign.
So what are you saying, that they try to pretend?
Right, they're an actor. They're acting.
Who they are to get that
right,
person.
to actually, you know, pull you in, reel you in.
Yes.
It's sort of like have this mask or
Yes.
this veil, and then once you're either married to them or in the relationship, and you're so, as a woman, you're deep into it, they unmask it, and it's sort of like, first you're in shock, then it depends on how long you've been with that person, whether or not you felt like you put in too much time as a woman, that you're saying, okay, I've invested all this time, that even though, you know, you were pretending maybe some aspects of, you know, of what you were pretending were true.
Yes.
Okay, for the lady who asked where I am from Jamaica,
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
but live in Florida all my life. That's for the lady who asked.
thank you very much. I would just want to know because the question you asked is sound like a foreigner, so it catch my attention. That's why.
But in reality, we all are foreigners.
Yes, all our foreigners.
I just want to say, my family is Jamaican, and I don't think I ever heard that before. Not to say that's not the case, but I haven't heard where, it's just definitely, I'm not sure if I'm confusing the question or the statement that the person had with another person. Was this the person that said that, the man is supposed to be the leader and women are not even supposed to be the leaders just in the world itself? I'm not sure if that was that person or not, but again, I'm just saying from my heritage and my perspective, like I said, my parents are Jamaican, my grandparents are Jamaican, my great-grandparents. I think the only persons that are not Jamaican are my first cousin's children that were born here. So that was the first time I really heard that.
I think Lady Style brings a valid point, and that is how we were brought up. It really has a lot to do with how it is that we love each other. And I know for myself, I never had any brothers. So, men, how you communicate. I have a son, and he's taught me a lot of things. He's taught me a lot of things. He's an adult now, and I've had to learn to respect his wishes. The journey of being a mother to being a friend. The dynamics of the relationship changes. Who I was as a mother and who I am today as a friend, and but through the process, I didn't have any examples. I didn't have any examples of men in my life. So when I married my husband, he had all boys that he lived with. He grew up with all boys. I had all girls. So it was only one that we didn't communicate well. We both loved each other very deeply, but our form of communication was very different. I also came from an Italian family. And so let me tell you that the way that Italians work, anybody that is Italian understands that your voice tends to go up when you're upset about something.
Like a wave.
Yeah. And of course, he didn't come from a family that was emotional in any way like that. So this, causes conflict.
Before we take a break, the gentleman said, we all have power, but not that much where we can be that confused. You always know it if you decide to acknowledge it. To that note, we're going to take a break. Please do not go anywhere.
Just listen to the music, yes.
Just listen to the music.
And we will be back. Thank you. What time is it? It feels like forever.
Like 10 o'clock or 10.
I kept saying, when are we going to break? I usually break earlier. We usually do. And you over there going sign language. I don't even know what you're talking about over there half the time.
I can't tell you.
You're
right
telling
now,
me sign language. You got to write it because I'm a visual person. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Facebook it's smoking.
Okay, good.
People are
They just go on talking.
talking, and
That's good. You're sharing what's on there.
Yes.
We need to learn. Yeah, I'm glad you shared that tonight because if they're not calling, they're talking on Facebook, and you can share that with us because we can't see that.
And then you can send it on my Facebook.
Yeah, because and also later on you can go back. The more people right now are logging, the more people are logging.
Really? So it's a good subject. If you need to go, do you want to go back?
Listen to this one. They say the devil can come, but you acknowledge who it is. Is the ability of discernment, is the little voice that speaks and tells you, maybe I don't like him. He has a kid. I probably tried to say he's a kid, but I don't like how he carries himself. It's always something. By the way, even they cannot hear you guys, they can see you moving around, which
Yeah.
is good.
So what time is it? 9:30? So we have about a half an hour.
But this is fun.
Isn't it fun? You might have to come back next week. It's really a good subject
Go ahead,
because
go ahead,
relationships
Go
are
ahead.
Can I leave now?
Yes, please.
Because I
Good
have to
job.
wake up at 5:30.
Yes, go ahead, my dear.
It's hard for me because I have
Go
to
ahead.
take a sleep day.
Yes, go ahead, dear.
Sorry.
So, and as much as we want to be like God, there is no one like
Now,
His
they-
love.
You're going to see me.
And so when we're not feeling that love from another human being, and it's maybe not even possible to get everything we're taking on this earth, or love from a
All right,
me.
I'm leaving.
Bye,
I'm sorry.
Kay.
I also
Blessing.
have lupus, so I have
Oh,
to
I
take a
know.
sleep
You
in.
take
So,
care.
okay.
Yes. Thank you for coming tonight. Althea. I love you.
And then I have to get up at 5:30 in the
I know.
morning.
Great job. Thanks, honey. Good. Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Well, this last one, I don't understand what you say.
I'm not sure what that one was about. Yeah.
Mine, I'm sorry. Yeah, but it's good. I like it. Very interesting. It's, if I have a show, I will make it this kind of way. Very interesting for everybody. Bring the word of God.
Yeah.
Bring different things.
You have to start out with a subject, and so you got to start out with a book. But then, if we, because of the spirituality that we all have and the truth, we know the truth.
Yeah, we know the truth.
We have to bring it right back to the center of God.
And just
We
bring
have
it
to
right
pray.
back.
We have to pray, and that's why when there's a problem bigger than us, prayer, prayer. God,
Break everything.
we're just saying, God, it's
Break
too big
everything.
for us.
Yes.
Maybe that's what
Yes.
we need to talk about.
Because the other lady, because when the lady was speaking, I feel her heart, she was hurting.
Yes.
You know, and,
Oh, my.
and I was going to say to her, she go to God and ask her to give her wisdom, not
Yes.
understanding for this relationship.
Yes.
Because they've been married for 30 years.
That's right.
So they're not going to divorce because they
No.
want to learn how to go work and submit themselves in God's hand.
I knew that person. That was my sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, obviously, I wanted to. I'm
Oh, yeah.
trying to create people calling in because we really need that
Yeah, you
for
got
other
it.
people to feel safe to call.
Yes, yes.
You know. Yeah.
So that's very interesting. I like it.
You know what?
Yes.
You are joining tonight, Global Lovers Connection. Thank you so much for calling in. And joining us on Facebook. We have many people that are joining us on Facebook. Dr. DT, can you share some of the comments?
Yes. Let's see exactly. Okay. One of the comments said, the devil can come, but you acknowledge who it is the ability to discernment, is the little voice that speaks and tells you, maybe I don't like him. He's a kid, or he has a kid. I don't like how he carries himself. It's always something. And he said, I think the lady in the orange said she was Italian. Was it streak? When you find a boy to be in your life.
Is it what? What was the question?
I think the lady in the orange said she was Italian. Was it streak?
Strict?
When you find a boy to be in your life.
I don't understand the question.
You find a boy to be your
I don't understand the question.
Mr. Abu, can you please clarify for us? When you say, I think the lady in the orange said she was Italian,
Right.
was it streak? What streak means? What do you mean by streak? When you found a boy to be in your life, what do you mean?
I can say the reason I was sharing that I was Italian is because my form of communication when I would get upset my voice would
Wave.
go up automatically because in an Italian family,
Yes, I
what
know.
happens is everybody speaks at once.
Yes.
And you don't get heard unless you speak louder.
Yes.
So, and my husband was very quiet, came from a quiet family, and, you know, he was the type of person that he would withdraw more and not talk with me about it because I have very strong opinions at times.
That's right.
So, you know, I had to learn to tone it down a little bit, and I didn't have to have my voice be so loud when I was talking to him.
Okay.
So you know. I
Was
think
your
that-
parents
Oh.
involved when you found or had boyfriends? Was your parents involved when you find or had your boyfriend?
Okay. What? My mom died when I was very young. So, and my dad, you know, tried to take care of us. I had an aunt that took us on the weekends, tried to make our life fun. And so I didn't have a lot of supervision when I was dating, to be honest with you. I met my husband through a friend. And we really, I didn't even look twice at him, to be honest with you. At first, I thought he was a handsome guy, but I also knew that he was, he loved women.
That is Italian.
Yeah, he wasn't Italian. He wasn't. I'm Italian. He was not Italian. He was the.
Was he French?
No, he wasn't French. He had a little bit of everything in him.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican?
No.
He was a picante.
Yeah.
Caliente.
Caliente.
He was his class president. All the women loved him. He played football. He was older than me. He was 3 years older. He had owned his own house. He had his own cars. And, you know, from my perspective, when he dated me, he took me out, treated me great. We went to restaurants. He was in the restaurant business. So, you know, he took me to the best places. And so, you know, I was young. I was 21. What did I know? Or when I first started dating him, I was 19. So, I didn't get married until I was 21. So, you know, you just, who I was when I got married and who I am today are two different things. And he although he had an addiction, he was a very loving man. I will tell you that. He was a very sensitive man, and there were things in his life that happened to him that he just wasn't able to cope with. Some things that happened to him at a very young age that he wasn't able to share with me until later in my marriage. I learned these things, very deep-rooted issues that haunted him. So I have nothing but, you know, love and respect for my husband, but it was a difficult journey. It was a very difficult journey in my life. And, you know, if you were to speak to my son, he would tell you the same thing. And I'm just being honest. We loved him, but there was a lot of things that were difficult that we couldn't actually talk through because we had this addiction in the way. So you have an addiction, and then you have, you know, men and women communication issues anyway. That really makes it difficult. And it made it very difficult for my son, too. I'm very proud of my son today. I can honestly tell you he's a wonderful man, and he does, he is the leader in the household, in his household. And I'm not sure, you know, how he learned that, maybe from other men, maybe from even my husband's family.
Well, I am sorry to hear that. Could this be a reason why things maybe went how they went? Also, he liked women.
That's
So you knew, but you stay is what I am saying. There's always something you know before.
Well,
You don't know a person until you leave, marry that person.
Can I say something?
That's very true. Go ahead.
Well, talking in spiritually, God give us the spirit of discern to discern when someone come around us. But when was in living in the natural, We were young. We never moving by discernment. We just like the person because he's handsome, because the way he smile, or the way how he smell.
Just say.
Right.
You look at him, say caliente.
Yes.
It look so caliente. We would say que guapo, que wow, que bellísimo. We would say that. But now we come in like spiritually now, seeking God and listening to the word of God and have the spirit of discernment and hearing when the Holy Spirit is speaking to you. It's different now. It's not the same what we do 20 years ago and now we're going to do it, because God opened our understanding to understand now. Because anybody just come and ask you, I love you, I like you, and you have to be careful too, because sometimes there is people are Christian, say they're Christian, but then still, like my evangelist Gloria say, they are walking into that double-minded. So we have to be very careful, not because we're Christian, you have to just get married with that person, because you have to ask him what kind of background they're coming from, because sometimes them parents never been a Christian. Maybe they just get saved, or then they come to be a Christian, but grandma never a Christian, they never have mother's Christian, they have no great grandma Christian. So now you have to be very, very careful when you meet somebody, ask them about background, where are you coming from, who are your parents, your parents Christian, your parents serve God, your great grandmother, what your that is the basic, more important thing about being a Christian, and discerning that young men grow up in a good environment.
I was I was afraid you were going to say you want to run a DNA test.
Yeah, you can run that too by the blood of Jesus. And the blood of Jesus.
Good evening, welcome.
Hi, how you doing? This is Donnie Allen.
Okay, welcome. Where are you calling from, my brother?
Massachusetts.
Oh,
Wow,
good.
that's good. That's good. Welcome.
What is your name?
Donnie Allen.
All right, Donnie. Can we hear your what are you thinking about? What are your thoughts about the show?
You guys have each individual perfect answers, I think. Like, you guys bring your own pieces of the puzzle to the world, and I think that's like awesome that you guys there really should be like more people that's doing this stuff. But I don't know. Not everybody's like willing to do what's right and true, I guess.
Well,
you guys are on the right track.
I'm so glad that you called in. What are your thoughts about men and women together? It's a little bit of a complicated subject. How old are you, Donnie?
I'm 19.
All right, we love young people.
Yes.
So tell us what's going on with you and women in your life.
Pretty much just like trying to find the right one. Like, a lot of girls around where I live are just like kind of just, not gonna lie, they're kind of fluvious. So I'm just like trying to find the right person. And, you know, like, I don't know.
What are you looking for in a woman?
Just somebody who's going to stay faithful and just like be a true person, and like not love me for like my money or nothing like that, but just for who I really am. Like, it sounds kind of corny when I say that, but like, it seems true.
Well, I think that that's wonderful that you've called in and that you're sharing what you're thinking, because we need young people to call in and to share what you're thinking. What has your dating experiences been like? Have you found it that women are a little bit foreign in how you communicate with them sometimes? Is it difficult?
No, not at all. Like, I have this girl that I know, her name's Katrina. I just met her just a couple days ago. She seems pretty cool. Very sure, like, how the answer is.
Well, remember, there's like a 3-month window that everything's wonderful. I just want you to know that.
My friend, I would like to hear from you. 90 days from now, you're going to say, "Oh my God, help me!"
Enjoy it, though. Enjoy the honeymoon stage, because you know what? It's important, because those are the times you remember. Brings you back when you have a problem. It might bring you back what worked in your relationship at the time you were dating and everything was good. Yes. So it's really important to go through that honeymoon stage of a relationship as well.
That makes sense.
And also, during the honeymoon, I will highly recommend for you to have a journal. a journal. So every good thing she said
Yes.
and wrote it down.
Write it down.
Next time after the honeymoon is over, you say, honey, remember what you say? Then he said, that's a good weapon. He said, honey, do you remember what you say? How much you say you love me? Do you remember that? That's a smart, listen, my friend, it's a smart move. Take it from me, okay?
Yes.
Please.
All right.
Voice of experience is speaking.
Yes. Well, do you have any questions about women that you'd like to know that maybe from a woman's perspective we can help you with it?
No, I think that should be pretty good.
Okay. Well, we thank you for calling in. We're thrilled. Make sure you tell all your friends to listen to our show and call in, okay?
On Facebook.
Yes, and we're on Facebook as well.
Friends right now, so I'll introduce them to you guys.
When is the next day?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, I'd like for you to tune in and call. The show starts from 8 o'clock to 10 p.m. And keep in mind, this is a platform we welcome everyone. And during the day, and by the way, you can send your friend, go back to Facebook or to go to YouTube also, to Discovery Radio, to Discovery Talent Radio. You can watch the show again. And also to Facebook, you can go Frank, F-R-A-N-C, Claude, C-L-A-U-D, and you can share it with your friend. And remember to like it as well. Like our page. Okay, my friend?
Thank you.
Yes, no problem.
Be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
All right.
Bye-bye.
I would like to invite all the single women out there to call in or send message on Facebook because we want to hear about single women. Married woman, married man, single man, just call in, send it in. We're ready for every one of those questions.
That's right.
And one of the things I would like to remind you of is that when you're in a relationship, guys, and you're on the honeymoon stage, and you see stars in your eyes, and everything is going so wonderful.
Write everything down. Write everything down. Next time she tried to call you and say, you never do this. Make sure you write it down. Say, honey, remember what you said, how much you love me.
Yes. And you're smiling and you're laughing, and every single thing is funny. Remember those days, ladies who's married 10 years, everything was funny.
20 years.
20 years. Remember everything that when you first met your husband, he eating is funny, he's smiling is funny, and you're giggling and you're laughing, and you didn't find no fault in your husband. He made you so happy. No, we lady now that's been married for a long time, you need to get back to that stage. Come back to where you see the simple things of life. Don't make it so big like, he's no good anymore. He's the same man that you have met a year ago, 2 years ago. The only difference is that when you married him, he came home and he began to unload himself and begin to take out all the things, and you say, I didn't know that you were like that. Listen, keep him. You married him, you love him then, you take out your suitcase with all your emotion, he take out his, you are laid out at the counter, at the table, and you all help each other and support each other. You don't need to leave each other or divorce each other. Come on. We all have baggage and luggage and all these things. Think about coming together and creating one great, wonderful world with you and your children, and never think of giving up, because guess what? You can always go back to the happy time that will give you strength, and then you can always create better time, because it's just the beginning. First, when you get to know each other, you're happy. Then you go through a process of really getting to know each other. Don't give up now, because after the process, remember, there is another good time. So just believe and hang on in your marriage, and don't leave that individual. Stick it out, because better time, better days is coming.
And once the kids are gone, it's going to be a quiet household. You're going to get to know each other over again.
No, that's not true.
No, that is.
When the kids are gone, it's party time.
Well, that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah. Is no more caller out there?
Are there any more callers out there? We'd love to hear
Waiting.
from you. 561-660-7653. We'd love to hear you call in.
And if you are an artist, you would like to be discovered, please go to www.usdiscoverytalent.com, usdiscoverytalent.com, or www.discoveryidols.com. You can contact us. All the information is on the website. Remember, this platform was created for the underdog. So, if you have any question, my name is Mr. DT. I am the general manager for Discovery Idols. My number is 561-541-1878. You can check me on Facebook. That's me sitting in my office. So send me your questions, and again, I keep saying to everyone, I love the fact that you send me your videos and also your music. I cannot do anything with them legally without you fill out the registration application. Legally, I cannot touch it if you don't give me writing permission for me to promote you. So you need to go to www.discoveryidols.com, fill out the registration application. So based on that will give me all the right to promote you, to play your music on the radio, and to promote you on the social media. And when the time comes for me to package you, to present you to any entertainment law firm. And again, my name is Mr. Titi. You're welcome to contact me, and also go to www.discoveryidols.com. Keep in mind, the agency does not make money until we have a contract for you. And also, the registration, the website can be changed to any language in the face of the earth. So all the application, all the information, all you have to do, go to the right side, you see there's the flag, choose any language that you want, and immediately all the information on the website will change to the language that you choose. So there will be no confusion, okay? And again, go to www.usdiscoverytalent.com or go discoveryidols.com. Sorry. And also, if you want to hear all the great music, all type of music, Caribbean, and also when you go to the radio, the usdiscoverytalentradio.com, you can see all the video of all of our artists that we promote. Their music been playing 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days. All these artists, they don't pay anything else after they fill out the registration fee. The registration application, that's what gives us the right to promote them. We promote them all the social media here in the US and also overseas. So go to www.usdiscoverytalentradio.com and you can look at all the videos, listen to all the music playing 24/7.
So in case you're just coming in, I don't know if you're just listening to us now, if you've been listening to us, we've been talking about men are from Mars and women are from Venus. We are definitely two different animals, but you know what? We need each other, and we need to find a way to make our relationships work better. And I'm going to just leave it that I feel, we need to have God in the center of our relationships.
Amen.
Without that, it's a secular world out there, and there's a lot of things on TV that'll show you how to make a relationship work that doesn't work. You see a lot of arguing, fighting, hurting each other. That isn't what we're promoting here tonight. We're promoting communication and
Yes.
finding a way to talk to each other.
Amen.
Because we're both important human beings. We're all made by God. And God wants us to love each other and find a way to make it work.
Yes.
So I welcome everyone to tune in next Thursday from 8 p.m. to 10 to Global Love Connection. And we have our coach, our friends, and I welcome everyone who's watching the show. If you are in the Palm Beach area, you like to participate, we welcome you. You can come, call me at 561-541-1878. I will interview you. After an interview, we will welcome you to participate live during our radio program.
And I would just like to say one more thing. Next week, I want to talk about Mars and Venus on a date. A guide for navigating the 5 stages of dating to create a loving and lasting relationship.
Okay. This is the book they're going to discuss next Thursday. You guys, you want to participate, you're welcome to start reading the book and get all your questions ready. And again, before we depart, remember, when you go to our site, Facebook, remember to like it. Remember to share it, please. Share it with your friends worldwide. And also, you're welcome to check us out at www.usdiscoverytalentradio.com. And all the shows that we did in the past, you'll be able to watch them. And also all the artists that we are promoting worldwide, you will be able to watch their videos. And also, if you like what you see, you can go back to www.discoveryidols.com, vote for them. When we promote our artists, we also register them. We also we sign them up for the competitions. So not only that, we coach them, and also we package them. And that's one of the reasons we ask them to call us at 561-541-1878. We can explain everything to them. What it takes for us to package them. When we package an artist, not only that, when we present them to entertainment law firm, we help them, we push them to make movies and to do commercials on television, to make commercial on radio. We really work with our artists. The agency spend a lot of money promoting our artists. We don't make any money until we have a contract for you guys. So this platform is created for one thing in mind, to give the underdog a chance. So you guys, I will highly recommend and I appreciate it if you share this video with everyone. And if you guys you like to, my phone is always open. Call me at 561-541-1878. I am the general manager of the radio and also of the talent show. So I work with managers. I work with many managers who represent their artists. I work with many promoters. Some of the promoters, they charge the artists $1,500 every 3 months. But us, we do not. That's why many promoters love to deal with us, because when the artists fill the registration application, the single artist only pay $99.99 for the registration application. After that, they do not pay anything else. It doesn't matter if it takes us 1 year or 2 years. They don't pay anything else. And when we package them, they still do not pay anything. We only get paid when we have a contract for them. And go to the website, you see all the artists from worldwide that we promote, as well as USDiscoveryTalentRadio.com. We play their music 24/7, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You can see them when you see. Well, if you like what you see, go back to DiscoveryIdols.com, vote for them. Okay? They need your vote.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tune in next Thursday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and also Monday to Friday. We have other shows. There's one start from 6:30 to 7:30, and also people on Facebook. We have an attorney, immigration attorney, that we invite to discuss DACA, to discuss immigration law. So you guys, you need to look for the show. At that time, you'll have a chance to call and ask questions, get your legal advice there. So if I were you, I will ask you, make sure, look for the show on DACA immigration, because I know so many of you have TPS from different countries. So many people, so many of you facing immigration law. So we invite, I invite a immigration attorney next week. I believe it could be Thursday or Wednesday evening. So he will, for 1 hour, his name is Mentor. As a matter of fact, if you look through Facebook and YouTube, there's one show he's already did. So what I've been doing lately is to invite all professionals and those who have talent and promote them. At the same time, they will have an opportunity to, for you guys on the social media, have an opportunity to question them, to participate. So it's a good platform. So make good use of it. Okay. Good night.
One more thing, I would like to say that Gloria will be with you every night of the week for 5 nights a week, I believe. You can get your spiritual guidance from Gloria right here.
Gloria and also her friend. Gloria is going to be there only on Friday.
Oh, a Friday.
On Friday, and also I have
Yolanda.
Yolanda Blanford.
Yolanda. Some of you who speak Spanish,
Yes, I speak
Good.
Spanish.
you need to tune in.
All right.
Remember, she's the caliente. She's the caliente lady.
All right,
Right.
She has
people there. Se pueden comunicar conmigo.
Oh,
Vamos a
good.
estar de lunes a jueves y vamos a estar hablando sobre la palabra del Señor y distintos temas que necesita hablar. Gracias.
Everything she said is true. Even though I don't understand. Good night. Good night. God bless. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. It was so much fun.
That was fun.
So much fun. I'm so glad you guys both came in. I was worried tonight that we weren't going to have enough, like it was just going to be me and Althea, and, you know,